Eagle Community Television presents Community Connection with your host, Mike Cooper.
Hello and welcome to Community Connection from Eagle Community Television. Thanks for watching. Thanks to our producer, Jeff Durrell. We're at the Beach Schmidt Performing Arts Center with, what do we call you now?
Just Ed.
Former President. Your Excellency doesn't seem to quite make it anymore.
No.
What do we?
You can just call me Professor.
Professor Hammond.
Yeah.
I like the sound of that.
I'm just a regular faculty member at Fort Hays State University.
Or
now.
Consultant Hammond,
well,
perhaps. There may be some of that coming too.
Yes. I'm sure there will be people that don't know where the bodies are buried, and I do.
We'll explore that perhaps. But we still have a little bit more to talk about in the way of the recognition after 27 years. Somebody ought to pay attention to the work that's been done at Fort Hays State, and the Board of Regents did that in their final meeting with a warm send-off, as it was said in the University Relations story, to retiring Fort Hays State President Ed Hammond.
Yeah, it was embarrassing.
Well, it should have been, as a matter of fact, because usually you're not one to talk about Ed Hammond. So
no, I'd rather talk about Fort Hays State University.
Fort Hays State and the Tiger family.
And this beautiful facility. You know, this was my first project.
This was the first?
First project when I came 28 years ago. This building was condemned, and we were trying to raise money at that time to renovate it. And so this was my first project, was to save this old building and renovate it, and so it's kind of appropriate, I guess, that my last interview, even though we may get together some other time on other issues, but one of my last interviews is in the building and in a place that we worked hard to get done back in the late 80s.
Well, and back then, people like Ross Beach, Bob Schmidt and so forth, the Beach Schmidt Performing Arts Center, Sheridan Hall and such, we were wondering what would eventually happen to the old snake pit, if you will. You know?
Right.
And sure enough, the Ed Hammond touch came to be, because this is one of the finest facilities for performing arts in the Midwest.
Yeah, and it was a battle. Even on campus, the music department, the music faculty were opposed because I wanted to carpet it. I wanted it to be first class, and they believed at the time that you couldn't have a carpeted performing arts center that would have good acoustics. And what they didn't know was we had acoustical engineers from Princeton who I knew when I was from my Seton Hall days. And so they came in, and acoustics is a combination of absorption and bounce. And so if you're going to have carpet on the floors, that's going to absorb, so then you got to create bounce in other places. So they designed a perfect acoustics for this facility, and it has been a point of pride for almost 25 years now, 24
Indeed.
years.
And we think of the thousands of performances that have been held here, everything from local performances to national touring groups.
Do you
and
dance? Can we get you here dancing sometime?
Probably not. No, I think I'd better leave that to the professionals, I suspect.
Well, we have amateurs here too.
You would definitely have an amateur there. President Hammond was a pioneer. I'm quoting from the Board of Regents. And
I was trying to distract you.
Yeah, I know you were. Shane Bangerter, is that right?
Bangerter.
The regent from Dodge City, read a proclamation. President Hammond was a pioneer in promoting online education with the establishment of a virtual college that now serves more than 4,500 students, not including those in China. Regents passed the proclamation unanimously. Everyone in attendance gave President Hammond a certainly well-deserved standing ovation. The enrollments began from 4,500 to now more than 13,500, and the cost of tuition, of course, as we've talked about, has been low. Well, part of that is the China connection. We'll go back to the Regents here in a moment, but you also received the prestigious Silver Stirrup Award for 2014 at the annual Team Kansas Banquet in Topeka, a nonprofit organization that's within the Department of Commerce. Some of the Silver Stirrup Award winners previously: Lieutenant Governor John Moore, Governor Kathleen Sebelius, Governor Mark Parkinson, and U.S. Senator Pat Roberts.
Yeah, those are the last four, and then I don't know, they really hit the bottom of the barrel when they gave it to me. That was a total surprise too. I had no idea that was going to happen, and I knew that the regents would do something, you know, and so I kind of expected to be embarrassed by that. I didn't expect to be embarrassed by the governor and Pat George, the Secretary of Commerce, at that meeting at Wichita State in the Roundhouse. It was a big dinner on the basketball floor at Wichita State.
Ah.
And so the fact that they recognized me and what we have done here to try to help Kansas grow and prosper was quite humbling.
The list of accomplishments is just amazing.
Well, I'm old.
Well, but you've been dedicated. The Kansas Academy of Math and Science residential program at Fort Hays State, that's one of the premier events too, the CAMS program.
Right.
Significant physical enhancements, the renovation of Sheridan, as we talked about, Tamanic Hall, state-of-the-art, completely electronic, computerized physical sciences building, move of Sternberg to the current location. Nobody thought that would ever happen either, with the dome in the shape it was at the time, and now look what we have to be excited about. Kansas Wetlands Center, Lewis Field Stadium, Larks Park, Robbins Center, that was also a part of it. Academic achievement and advancement, as we've talked about, student recognition programs across the country that have been first class, scholarships from Kansas, Colorado, Nebraska, mobile learning and living environment, the wireless connectivity which has occurred. Just sit there a minute, I'm not through. A fourfold increase in the number of scholarships annually, thanks to the power of one. Promotion of critical public higher education and shaping a future. How many trips to Topeka to visit with legislators and lawmakers? Development of higher education alignments in an effort to better serve western and north and southwest Kansas. And several fundraising campaigns that have totaled, according to the Regent's report, more than $130 million, increasing the assets of the Fort Hays State Foundation from $8.2 million to nearly $50 million in the past 20 years. Now, I know you're embarrassed by all that, but that had to be told because this is the significance of the tenure of President Ed Hammond.
Yeah, but it's not just Ed Hammond. I mean,
well, I know you always say that, and it's true.
It is true. You know, the virtual college, you know, was Larry Gould was involved in that process. Cindy Elliott was involved in that process. I remember hiring her from Miami and convincing her to move here from, she had a condo on the 7th floor overlooking Key Biscayne Bay, and I convinced her that Hays, Kansas was a prettier place and was a better place for her. And she came here as our first dean at the virtual college. And then Tony Fernandez, who took over after that, is now president of a university in Montana and in Idaho. You know, and now Dennis King. And so you know, I've been blessed with really great professionals who have been able to take some ideas and concepts and dream new dreams and build things that I got credit for that I'm not sure is appropriate. So that's why I get embarrassed.
Well, one of those things that you talked about in reviewing with Cindy Elliott and such was the China connection with the universities in China. And the trip since we last visited, you were about to take off practically the afternoon of our visit. Talk about the China trip and review some of the highlights for us.
Well, it was our commencement trip. I go over every year. We do commencement here for CAMS in one weekend. Then the next weekend we do our university commencements on Friday and Saturday. And then I dash to China, and the next 2 weekends we do commencements there. And while we're in China, we visit the elementary school we rebuilt after the earthquake back in 2009. And we did that again this year. So there's 40-some kids there that are just a joy. I love going there and visiting the grade school kids. It's kindergarten, first, second, and third grade. And up in a mountain town that's about as far removed from any place you can get to. It's a one-lane road. There better not be anything coming the other way because there's not room to pass. But it was a very good trip. Commencement there is so important to families and to the kids. To be able to get 2 degrees, an American degree, without leaving China. If they come here to the United States, it's going to cost $100,000 at Fort Hays to get a bachelor's degree. And because of our partnerships and the way we've worked out that agreement, they can do it for less than $7,000 in China, as well as getting their Chinese degree. So it's just a blessing to see those people graduate. And then a lot of them came back because they had events for me at different places. So I got to see a lot of the graduates that are now in top-level management jobs at multinational corporations or in Chinese agencies or the bank system. So it was a great trip. It really was.
And there was a significance there, I think, because of the president of the virtual university showing up to hand out the diplomas. And that recognition, I think, is telling to people.
It is. One of the wisest things maybe I did in the China program was to make the commitment to go every year, because no one else does it. There is another institution in the world, not just in the United States, but Germany or Australia or New Zealand. There's not another university where the president comes and actually hands out the diplomas in China, just like we do here. And the fact that we're willing to take the time and go do that, I think has made a significant impact on the perception of the Ministry of Education and the leadership in China. And the last night that we were in China, we were hosted for a special dinner in People's Hall on Tiananmen Square. They opened it up and they hosted a dinner there. The vice chairman of the Communist Party hosted a dinner recognizing our partnership and what little I had done to help achieve that. And that was a very special night.
Well, I don't think it was a small recognition, because normally at the university, as I understand it, halls and class facilities are numbered. However, there is now a Hammond Hall at the university. So a rather significant point made by the Chinese.
Well, that was CIOS University and their president, Sean Chin's doing. You're right, all the buildings there are numbered. You go to classroom building number 42, you live in dormitory 15, and they did name a new building which now houses our program, all of our faculty that we have there. The dean, the director, and the staff of our program is there. And in a building, they did name it for me, and that was a tremendous honor. Sean apologized that it was just a normal looking building. It wasn't really anything special. I thought it was gorgeous. So he said, we built a little garden out in back. Well, this garden is it takes up a footprint of probably 3 times the size of the building. It has a lake, it has a gazebo, it has a trail that you can walk around, it has a tea house, it has a meeting facility there in the garden.
Wow.
It's just a beautiful place. And he decided when the building was done that it wasn't good enough, so he decided to create this garden that's, you walk out the back door into this wonderful facility, and that we held a reception at. After they dedicated the building, we then had a reception in this new garden, which didn't exist 3 months ago, but they brought in trees and brought in plants, and it looks beautiful.
Obviously, the Tiger family isn't the only one that recognizes the importance and the significance of former President Ed Hammond of Fort Hays State University, our guest on Community Connection. Thanks for watching.
Well, thank you very much for all of the support you've given me and Eagle over the years, first in radio and now with the TV program. And it's been a real pleasure and an honor to work with you.
Thank you, sir. That's our Community Connection. Thanks for watching.